Welcome to the Thunder. Tonight, we have a very intriguing podcast for you. We've got I Am Stache. We've got Thomas Schooley. We've got the story of a young, well, I was going to say young goaltender, a not so young goaltender named Curtis McElhinney. The rise of Curtis. And we also have the return of the Thunder, the eliteness of Alex Killorn and Yanni Gourde, and even some record-breaking performances.
That's right. Big
so,
cat.
Where do you guys want to start?
I mean, I'll tell you where I like to start right now. That is the fact that Senor Vasilevsky now riding another 10-game win streak for 3 seasons in a row. Unprecedented. No one has done 10 games 3 seasons in a row of 10 win streaks. No one's done that.
He's at 11 now, right?
He's at 11 now, which has now tied the franchise record. Right. He's tied the franchise record, and he's on the hunt for the longest win streak, which is, I think, 14 or 15. I don't want to jinx it. I haven't really looked at it. I'm trying not to jinx it. But I'm just saying, I mean, it's just, and I think the segue is great, if you ask me, into the McElhinney conversation as well, because we're spoiled. We're just straight up spoiled with how damn good Vasilevsky is. And the fact is, I still don't think the kid is playing his best goalie of his career yet. I still don't think he's in that window of that 5 to 7 year span of his eliteness for him. You know, I still think he has more to go.
Win you over, man.
No. I'm not saying he isn't already. I'm just saying he's growing more. I'm not saying that he isn't great. I'm saying for him, he still has more. He's still trying to get better every single day. He still has that hunger every single day to be better. And he's already the best by far. I'm saying what I'm saying is I think we are literally looking at what's going to go down as the best goaltender in the history of the NHL. That's
wow. Dang. Hold on for that. Hold on. Let me replay. Timing is everything on this show. We'll edit that out later. By the way, we got a guest coming on later, but man, we got some huge takes right out the gate here with the stats saying Vasys going to be the best goalie of all time, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the conversation.
Well, I mean, no doubt he wins the Vezina this year, right?
Yeah.
I think the only doubt is does he win the Hart Trophy, which he really could win it this season.
I agree. I mean, you're looking at probably back-to-back, or not back-to-back, but you're looking at 2 out of 3 years as a Vezina winner, potentially a back-to-back Stanley Cups. And I still think that this team has a window of another 5 years after this year to be in the top contenders you know what I'm saying? They're going to be in the top 3 or 4 in the projections to win the Stanley Cup, I think, for at least still 5 more years from now. So
and Vasys came out and said he's not the best.
Right. And I don't think he's playing the best he's played in the last couple of years, like you said. Yeah.
And I believe it's Carey Price who was the last goaltender to win the Vezina and the Hart in the same year. Yeah. And Vasys putting up better numbers than he did that year. Leads the league in wins. He's top 5 in goals against. He's 3rd, I think, in shutouts. He's in the top 5 in every goalie category. So there's no doubt. And then, talk about McElhinney. So I've got to go to 2 games this year, and I'd love to talk about how that atmosphere is in that arena right now. But both games happen to be started by McElhinney. And I'll tell you what, the first game I was okay with. I was like, all right, it's Mac. But then we lost, and then people lost their goddamn mind thinking that because we only scored 1, it was all on him.
Right.
So he gave up 3 goals, and they only scored once, so it was Mac's fault. Then the very next night, Vasy gives up 3 goals, And I'm like, on Thunderbolts, I'm posting, so is this Vasys' fault?
Yeah.
Or what are we doing here? Then, of course, with this back-to-back this weekend, everybody lost their mind when Vasys started against Chicago. I mean, let me tell you, I doubted it a little bit too. I was like, Coop, what the hell are you doing? Why would you not play Vasys against Florida and play McElhinney against Chicago, which in theory would be the easier of the two teams? But like every time we doubt Coop, he just
gamesmanship
shoves it right up our ass and is like, look, here you go. Here's Mac out for Florida against Bobrovsky and 5-3 win.
Yeah. And that's what I want to kind of like the segue from Vasy and McElhinney is when you're sitting here and your main goalie, your starting goalie, is an Iron Man. And how many starts did he have last season? How many he finished his seasons, played every single game in the bubble. I mean, right? So now you get spoiled by that, just by the fact that your backup didn't even play the entire bubble, all the playoffs, the post, like right. So now on top of that, you got the guy like I believe is going to go down as being the best of all time. Of course, your backup isn't going to be as good as him. Like, what do you expect us to have? The second best goalie of all time as our backup?
Yes.
Like, is that what people expect? Is it supposed to be like my ultimate team on my freaking video game where I can have 398 all stat? No, that's not how it works. Like, you're going to have a little bit of drop off with your backup goalie, especially if you're paying what you are for the guys that are skating in front of him. I mean, come on. How is it that hard of a concept? Is it that much of a hard of a concept for you guys to understand out there that I hate? Oh, we need a different backup. Who else is going to be your backup that you're going to pay that much? Like, I don't know. I don't know what these fans expect whenever you've got, Vasy as your starting goalie. Yes, there's going to be a drop off in your backup. And sometimes the guys aren't going to play as well. Sometimes other teams are going to come in and be a little bit more hungry because they know it's the backup. I don't know. You just got to understand the fact that you have the best goalie on the planet right now. Give the other guy a break.
And then McElhinney wins, and it isn't because of him. It's because of the team. If he loses, it's because he's stupid and he sucks as a goaltender. If he wins, it's because of the team.
Yeah, somehow it's that whole quarterback thing in football, right? Like, if they lose, it's the quarterback's fault. If they win, it's the coach's. It's because of the coach.
There you go, Stache. The headline from the hockeywriters.com. Not best ever yet, but he is the best goalie.
He's still got a ways to go. What I'm saying, he's still not even in his prime, and he's the best. Like, who? I don't know. I don't know if there's anyone else in the league that's even going to come close to him right now.
And I think it was Hockey News that polled all their writers, and all but one picked Vasy, and the comments on were nuts. Saying it was because of the team, it wasn't because of him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what everyone knows. Again, it's the whole coach versus quarterback versus blah blah blah. When they lose, it's the goalie's fault. When they win, it's because of the guys in front of them. It's it'll never change.
I'm happy that they're saying it's the guys in front of them. I'm happy. I mean, look how much the scoring has spread out this season.
Yeah, actually,
I was going to talk about that.
That's what we should talk about, because all of a sudden, Killer is on a hot streak. Like, you wouldn't be. I mean, how do you stop Killer right now? But you realize who Killer's been playing with. I mean, they put him up there with Stammer, and now he's playing with Point and Stammer. And
I've been calling for this since I don't know how long. Since Yzerman signed Killer to this contract, I thought the whole plan was for him and Stamkos to be on a line together. And now that they are, they're both freaking they're both on a tear. Unfortunately, Stamkos' streak came to an end in yesterday's game. But I mean, he's been on a tear too since they lined up. And anyone that's been on the line with the two of them has been productive. And I think that's why they went ahead and put Point back on that line, because Point still kind of seems to be kind of getting lost in the shuffle right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he got involved yesterday finally, but I mean,
Yeah, and Gourde also has been on quite the
that's
streak.
the other guy.
And both those guys have been going off, and even Tyler Johnson, like, everyone says he's the guy that's got to go. He's always in there. He's always making plays. He made the big play. Did he have the game winner last night or yesterday?
Yeah.
Game winner yesterday.
On a great play, man, going hard, using his skate to back up the blade of his stick to make sure that it didn't, bounce over it or what. I mean, that was textbook. Got the leverage. It's for two guys that everyone was trying to get out of here to make cap space for everyone else. I think Killer and Johnson have both made a case for themselves as to why they're still a part of this roster and were to begin with.
Or
not Johnson as much, but
Seattle.
At least Johnson should be in it. That's why Johnson should be in Seattle. Give him opportunity, he can play. Killer finally is on the line that he should have been on for seasons at this point. But yeah, man. I mean, and then you go ahead and you see also Matthew Joseph got on the score sheet yesterday too. Maroon with the assist. That's right, Colton. That line has really found a groove. They're really gelling really well. And I mean, it's really not fair. Like I keep saying this over and over again, but Coop just keeps kind of putting the dice in a cup, giving them a shake and throwing them out there. And these lines, I mean, he's got a few core pairs. I see him like, I can see he's kind of keeping two guys together here and two guys together there and whatnot. But he's able to sprinkle these other guys in there, and these lineups are just working every time. They're working, and they're working well.
Yeah, they're doing something right. And by the way, we have a guest tonight. We're gonna have John, who is a Lightning fan, and I asked him to come on because he is blind, but he is a huge Lightning fan. And I've talked to him a little while. He's joined us on Clubhouse for some watch parties. So I've talked to him a little bit about how he kind of watches Lightning games, because he doesn't watch. He listens. So I have some questions for him, and he actually asked me some questions, but I didn't have a chance to get back to him. So I will answer some of his questions as well. So why don't we go ahead and bring him on? Let's bring on John. There he is. John, what's up, man? Welcome to We the Thunder. Hold on. I'm going to give you a good old lightning clap here. Now you are official. Can you hear us?
What's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
Hey, so I gave your origin story, sort of, a little bit, tiny bit.
How's it going?
So I thought it'd be cool to have you
here.
on. I know you have a podcast as well, and you're kind of a newer Lightning fan from the last couple years. Uh-oh. Can he hear us?
Is there a delay?
I think my internet's messing up.
Wow.
All right, hey, try to join back in, John. We'll try to get you back on in a second. We've got technical difficulties. Tim coming in hot with, did Coleman cut his lettuce?
I think he did, but you know who else did? Is Point. Point shaved and trimmed up the lettuce too. I noticed that the other day, and I was a little surprised by that. Maybe not the shaving so much, but he definitely trimmed up the old mullet back there. And I think Coleman did too, now that Tim points it out, because I couldn't quite recognize him in those all blacks the other night.
Too. Hedman cut a couple inches off.
Oh, these guys are...
Trust me, all the girls talk about it. If there's one hair out of place, they will call it out.
No, I knew all the ladies out there were going to be a little upset about Point, because he looks much younger now without the beard and without the hair being so long. But yeah, I noticed that pretty quickly too with Point out there. So And then what's also funny is how quickly Maroon's beard grew back. Like, did he even shave? What? Like, my beard goes pretty quickly.
Put it on him.
Right? Like, my beard goes pretty quickly. But like that guy, I swear he was clean shaven one game. Like two, like a third period of the next game, he already had like a full beard again. I'm like, what the hell? It's the big rig. That's all I can say, right? Freaking big rig. Yeah, I'm just grateful after my long weekend that I don't have to chug beers in his honor tonight, because I don't know if I can handle it.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, every time Maroon scores, the Stache has to chug. And he's got to chug. We figured this out last episode. I thought it was just like he's just going to chug a beer every episode. No. He's going to chug as many goals as Maroon has scored throughout the season for each show. Yeah. So if Maroon scores next game, how many? That's going to be a sixer, right?
That'd be 5.
Oh, is it just 5?
Right?
I thought it was going to be a sixer.
Oh, I don't remember. See, now I've lost count.
It doesn't matter because he did not score a goal since our last show. So you are off.
So I'm off the hook for this week.
And yes, he is the human chia pet. And it looks like we got Aaron calling in from the Panhandle.
What up, bro?
Bolts fan. You know what? That reminds me, Schoolie, we got to get the scoop on kind of the stadium situation. You've been to a few games. So what's going on at Amalie these days? What's the scoop? Did you go eat at all those places we talked about last show?
No, there's very limited open. So 3,800 fans allowed in. You get in pods, but really, I think they're like building up to start adding more. We saw at the beginning. They used to do where only your pod and then maybe one other pod was in the row, and then the row in front of you and the row behind you empty. Now they still do the row in front of you and the row behind you empty, but now there's like 5 in the row. So they have like 4 or 5 chairs you, then another pod, then 4 or 5 chairs in between them, and then another pod. So it looks like they're adding a little bit more and more every time. I got 7 more games, I think, that I have tickets for. They still pipe in the crowd noise, which kind of sucks, but it's also good too because 3,800 people, you don't really hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they would hear the Stache when he's screaming at the players or whatever.
That's true.
That's how I feel when I'm there. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, here, they can hear me now.
Yeah, I think they can hear me over the piped in crowd noise for sure. Like, maybe not over the real fans, but I think that if I was there, at least in like the ones, like in the 2s, if I was like in the 2s, I bet they would hear me. I really think so.
I mean, they're definitely taking safety measures a lot. You don't order at the registers anymore. They have kiosks over to the side that you order everything from. Sonia's not on the ice to sing. Instead, she stands up in the chase, and that's where she does the Star Spangled Banner from. They don't have the kid on the ice and to begin of the game. They have a kid videotape from a previous game up on the Jumbotron and then do the spotlight down on the ice. Nobody's allowed on the ice except for the players. And
can anyone get us that video of the kid that skates around so we can Photoshop Stache's face on there?
They would just flag us and we'd have to take it down.
I know. We just take it down immediately. Yeah. I was just saying that because we had the new intro to this show, which is just the sounds of rain, thunder, and lightning.
Which is not great because that's what I listen to when I go to sleep. So you don't need to have that before our show.
It's the calm before the storm, baby.
Yeah.
Come on. So if anyone wants to make us some new music, we can't get away with even the sounds of God on this show without Facebook up my ass about something. I mean,
and
come on, man.
News on April 3rd or something like that. The 2 games, not the 1st of April, but the 2 after that, Cigar City Brewery is actually going to be open for drinks only before the game up until puck drops. Ooh. Then it looks like the end of April, they will start hosting watch parties again. for those fans that cannot be in the arena, with just like the playoffs last year, the reservation system, and then set that up going into the playoffs where they then again have the watch parties inside Cigar City, the official watch party of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they will take the reservation.
Well, alrighty then. We got the inside scoop, of course, from our man, Mr. Cigar City.
I was talking to the manager of it the other day because they actually opened up the other day for drinks only. And so the 2 day games that are coming up in the early April, she's allowed to open up until puck drought. Then it looks like after that, they might actually allow her to try a watch party there. They want to make sure fans will come, and I don't think they will have a problem filling up Cigar City with fans that can't make it inside.
Yeah, probably just open those doors up.
Yeah.
If you open the doors, they will come.
Exactly.
All right, let's open the door one more time for John. John, we got a strict two strikes in your out policy here. So John, can you hear us?
Yes.
He can hear us. He can hear us. All right, so well, can you hear us? We are there. Are you
Sorry
there?
about that. I got internet issues.
I know.
Yes.
I think you're good now. We just want to ask you, a couple questions as a Bolts fan. I think you told me that you're a relatively new Bolts fan. How long ago did you become a Bolts fan?
Honestly, right in the bubble last year. Like, I think it was the Boston series.
You were in the bubble? No, you couldn't.
No, during the bubble.
Oh, so just now. You basically just now became a fan. Last year.
Yes. The Grizzlies got put out of their bubble, so I was looking for a sport to follow, and I found the Lightning.
So why'd you pick the Lightning? Because you don't live in Florida, right?
Right. I had a friend from another podcast that I listened to that was a fan of the Lightning, and he was always talking about the Lightning, so I figured, what the heck?
Wait, do you listen to a competitive podcast of us? No.
I was like, there's some out there.
I'm just kidding. I welcome any competitive podcast to come on the show. We'll duke it out. All right, sorry, John. I'm just interrupting you.
I don't even think they're going anymore, but yeah, he was a fan of the Lightning. And
you're lucky this one is.
They keep trying to ban us.
Yeah. All right. So
I'm glad you still are, because
you picked the Lightning because you knew someone and they said, "Hey, you got to watch this team. This team's electric." John, is that what they said?
Yeah. Yes, pretty much.
Sweet.
Leading the witness much.
Hey, I'm not the friend, am I? No. So you watched the Lightning. So you became a fan of the Lightning during the playoffs, and they happened to just win the Stanley Cup that year as you're learning the sport of hockey, essentially. And by the way, you're not just learning the sport of hockey, but you can't see the sport of hockey. So you're learning it while you can't see it. So take me through that. How do you I guess you start by just listening to one of the games, right?
Right. I mean, I had a very broad sense of how to play the game and like what was involved, but a lot of the rules I had no clue. And I've listened to Dave Mishkin and Phil Esposito. They do an amazing job describing the games, because without them, I'd be lost. But I've picked up on the rules pretty much, and it's once you learn, it's pretty simple to follow. It's really fast, and I thought I wasn't going to be able to follow the fast pace of it, but I'm actually following it better than I thought I would.
Yeah, you definitely got lucky having guys like Michigan and Esposito to listen to as a new fan, because I mean, Espo is definitely a bit of a homer for the Lightning, but he definitely calls it pretty well, and he does explain a lot of the things that they do fundamentally And then Michigan is just damn exciting to listen to.
Oh yeah, I'll go back and watch the YouTube clips of the way his calls. It's really fun to listen to.
Yeah.
So now when Espo doesn't go, well, they don't even go on the road, but Espo's still not doing every game, you were telling me, right? They're having the Chief fill in for him occasionally now.
Bobby Taylor?
Yeah, that's the Chief.
Yes, I think
That's the Chief.
He used to be the TV guy, actually.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that.
He's actually very similar to Espo, where he'll let out those groans and those Espo just goes nuts on the radio. If nobody's ever listened to Espo, I know everyone knows Michigan because you see his clips and stuff online, but if you've got to listen to one of those games. Actually, Stache, do you remember when we used to encourage people when we did the first edition of this show, We the Thunder, when we tried to tell people to mute their TV when the Bolts were on NBC and put on the radio and try to sync it up so you can get the Michigan Espo combo. We actually tried to get people to do that. I think 4 people did, and it's changed their life. And 2 of those are right here right now.
we changed lives on this show.
It definitely makes it It definitely makes it easier, especially for me. Yeah. My wife, on the other hand, she has to watch it. She can't stand the radio.
Oh, so did she like it? She's kind of caught on to it too. Got the Bolt fever.
I'm trying to get her into hockey. She's more of a football fan, but I'm trying little by little to get her into hockey.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Carter's up near like 2 hours north of Atlanta. So we're closer to like the Huntsville and the Nashville or the Knoxville teams.
Okay.
Well,
I want to make it down
to a Macon game, but
not this season, but next season.
I want to.
You come to a game, I'll give you tickets. You and your wife some tickets.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
There you go. So
I think we're like 8 hours away from Tampa.
It's worth it.
But yeah, man, I mean, if you're trying to get her to be a fan, definitely the live experience is what it is for, I don't know how well it would translate for you. Maybe you could probably listen to it on the radio while she's watching it, you know what I mean? Because I know for most people I know that I've taken and gotten into hockey, that's the best way. Like you try and let them watch on TV, and it can be kind of hard to follow and whatnot. But once you get them to a game, the live action is like kind of intoxicating, even if it's a smaller experience. Just being there, fans are really passionate. It's always a fun time. So, yeah, that's just my recommendation. If you're trying to get her and she's a little bit hesitant, see if you can get her to a live game.
Yeah, I took one of my coworkers yesterday who not a Lightning fan, and he's a New York homer for everything, but he hasn't been in a NHL game. So I took him to the game yesterday, and by the second, third game goal, he was into it. Once it started getting chippy and stuff like that, he said, he could imagine how much it would be with 19,000 in there rather than 3,800.
Right.
It definitely makes a difference. So.
That's why I wanted to start off with something small, like making the Mayhem or the Havoc out of Huntsville, and then get her up to eventually warm her up to the Lightning, going and taking a road trip down there.
Aaron's fan, he's from Pensacola. They have a Pensacola Ice something, or they have a team down there that Sonia comes and sings at like once. And then you have the Orlando Solar Bears also up in northern Florida.
I try to follow them as well. I've listened to a few of their games too.
That's awesome.
Suck, don't.
Yeah.
Jesse does a really good job with their broadcast as well. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to listen to the Macon games, but But yeah, I love listening to Lightning. It's the drama and the action. It's really fun to listen to.
Yeah, I like when you jump on our Clubhouse. By the way, I keep getting more and more invites for Clubhouse. I think I work for them now. So if anyone wants to join the clubhouse, that's where occasionally we'll go jump on and just kind of watch the Lightning games and kind of chat through this app where you can just chat with each other. So John and I are the ones that attend the most. And I think it's kind of fun to watch with John because, he's just kind of listening to the radio feed and it gives me a chance to be kind of like more of that color commentator for him. He's like, hey, what happened on that last goal? And I'm like, oh, here it is, John. Let me break it down for you. Let me give you the old hold on, let me roll up the sleeves and give you the old shooter breakdown. I think I'm gonna start doing that on this show. Can I get like a whiteboard where I can there's a way to do that for sure. I'm doing that next show.
You get to do that
coaching corner.
The We the Navigators, you get the board out, not on this one.
Yeah, right.
Definitely figuring that out, and I'm thinking I could probably do it by the end of this show.
It definitely helps.
Oh, look at the time! It's going to be a short episode tonight, guys.
Late here.
Gotta go.
All right, so John, to be fair, I'm asking you a lot of questions, but you had asked me some questions, and I'm sorry for not getting back to you, but I was like preparing a lot for this show, obviously. So is it okay if I answer those on here?
Sure, go ahead. I know they're kind of odd questions, and to the visual person, it's kind of simple, but to me, that was kind of confused.
Well, no, it makes a ton of sense that you would ask these questions. So the first one was you were kind of curious about like the goalie glove, and you were saying like compared to like a base
in general.
Goalie. Oh, so goalie equipment in general, that changes the whole question there. So a goalie is a big imposing.
I know there's pads and a glove.
Yeah, so the leg pads are huge, like blocks, essentially.
Giant, rectangular, like bricks, if you will, basically.
Okay.
And like the goalie can like squat and like bend his knees, but then the pads like stay up. So they basically go up to like mid-thigh, if you will. But then like he can still like bend his knees and squat like normal and like slide side to side. And they're able to like, be flexible enough to where they can lay them flat on the ice on their side, like next to each other.
Oh, okay.
In a line. And like in a line or stack them, and then like they have big like body gear almost where like their jerseys are probably like 3 times the size of the regular skater because of all the body pads that they have. Yeah. And then like the goalie glove is almost like a basketball net, but then like you can like use your hand to move. Like it's huge. It's quite large, but then like it's all you can use it for though. Like you don't really have a lot of other use. It's just like a claw, like a crab claw almost.
It's similar to a baseball glove, kind of
like a first baseman's glove. Do you know a first baseman's glove? Or like the shape of that, maybe.
Like,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I know it's bigger than normal.
Yeah,
it's
the
bigger.
way I describe the pads for the legs is it's like a toddler bed mattress strapped to them.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a long rectangle.
Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate.
Would you compare the glove to like a lacrosse stick glove? The end of a lacrosse stick?
It's got the netting on the back of a lacrosse stick for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, goalies are the highlight of the goalie though is right on the noggin. The helmets that they have are
masks.
A lot of them get them completely painted and have some
airbrushed out.
designs.
They're usually themed somehow, some way.
Yeah.
All right, and so your other question was I don't even remember it. What was your other question? Do you remember it?
How do you determine who's in the face-off circle? And then what constitutes a player getting tossed out of the circle on a draw?
Yeah. So the centerman takes the face-off, and then they can get kicked out for all kinds of things. They can get kicked out for not lining up right, which is probably most common.
Yeah, so in general, like the defensive zone player is supposed to have their stick on the ice first, and then the referee is supposed to drop the puck, and then that's when the offensive player is allowed to make a play for the puck. So then if the guy on the defensive draw doesn't put his stick down in time or is like playing games, or if the offensive zone player puts his stick down before the defensive zone player, that's usually like the most common reason why. But then also, like Shooter was saying, even if the wingers are messing around or they're trying to dive in, the guy taking the draw can get kicked out for the other players doing stuff too. So yeah, there's a myriad of reasons, and to me, it's the number one most frustrating thing about hockey, because most of the time it's because the referee just doesn't drop the damn puck. He's sitting there getting all cute, and then someone tries to make a play. It's like, oh no, you're out of here. It's like you ever see the Ace Ventura or like the bit from Ace Ventura where he's like doing the shikaka or like, and then they keep kneeling and stuff. Like, to me, that's what it's like whenever they're dropping the puck in the NHL, because like fake it and don't, like, it's this huge thing. So yeah, it's a mystery. If you can see it or you're just listening to it, it's just as much of a mystery to anybody as to why guys get tossed out, really.
Okay. Any other questions?
I was just always confused. I was like, what did he do?
Yeah, me too. I'm like I said, I'm usually just as confused as you.
I mean, they could literally like just move a little bit and then they'll get kicked out. And that's anyone, not just the center, but like anyone lined up. They start to move in a little bit early, which, by the way, happens every single face-off. Like it's like holding in the NFL, right? Like they
call it every time.
They miss every play, and then they call it on some plays. But that's kind of how it works. All right, so hopefully, John, you are the Bolts like good luck fan here, and they're gonna win another Stanley Cup this year. That's the hope, at least. And they're playing good so far. What's your thoughts on how they've been playing recently here? And then I'm gonna get you out of here so you can go enjoy Huntsville.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I like how the young players have come back, like Colton and Alex Barboulet and what was the other one? Cal Foote. I like how they have come on.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot.
Been well with the ad, and they're not missing a beat. I mean, the Lightning are not struggling when they're in the game. They're just as good as they were. I mean, it's impressive that they can come in and play like that right away.
I agree. That's for sure.
But the win against Florida yesterday was awesome, because that's the team that give us fits already. So I mean, to get that win was huge.
Yeah, it's such a it was such a good game too. Actually, that was a great game for Thomas to bring someone to for their first game.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. It had a little bit of everything in it. And Lightning won at the end. So John, let me ask you one more question. What do you think, or who do you think is the biggest threat to the Bolts in this Central Division? This will be pretty interesting from someone that doesn't really see the action on the ice. You just kind of have to listen and take into consideration what's happened on the ice and also the commentators' comments.
I would say, I guess Columbus, Carolina, or the Panthers.
Won't disagree with you there.
We've only seen Columbus like twice. We've only seen Columbus twice, and we're 1-1 against Columbus. So, and the Panthers, what are they, 2-2?
I think so.
Is it 2-2? I think it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are the two teams that have given us trouble, or the three teams that have given us trouble. And I think the last series we had against Carolina, we were 2-1 or 3-0. So I think we're good there. I think we've got their number. So, what was it?
Yeah, they were 2-1 in that series with Carolina.
I think okay. So the Panthers, Carolina, or Columbus.
Yeah.
Could be either one. I'm going with Florida right now. They just seem like they have got it all together, but I'm always critical of the Panthers in being able to last an entire season, which, hey, shortened season might work out for them this year.
Right.
Have they added anybody except Carter Verhaeghe? I mean, I don't.
Oh yeah,
seems
they
to be
added
the
a bunch of
spark.
players.
Yeah.
Hornquist has
Oh,
been
okay.
huge for them.
Yeah.
What's happened for them is they're not just getting the main guys scoring, Huberdeau and Barkov. They're getting now the secondary scorers like Verhaeghe and Hornquist. So now they have like that depth that, like, I mean, we talk about with Lightning all the time. All of a sudden, Killorn's on fire. Now Gourde's on fire. Next point's going to go off, or if it's not point, it's going to be someone else. So they're starting to kind of get there, and they've put together a good team. And you also got to remember who their coach is now. Their coach is no slouch either. He's had a lot of success. They're going to be a good challenge for Lightning. I think they will make the playoffs for sure. I mean, it seems like it's pretty set almost in the Central, but I would love to see a playoff series, all Florida playoff series, and I would try to go to as many of those games as I could.
That would be impressive.
All right, John, what's
Chicago?
Now you're bringing Chicago back into it. I thought we proved ourselves against them.
Yeah, they're way behind. I mean, I don't think nobody's going to catch. I don't think they can catch the Lightning or the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers should make the playoffs with the Lightning as well.
I think what we figured out yesterday, right now, the point mark is 74 points gets you in the Central Division.
What are Lightning at right now?
24? No, 40 something.
Point?
Yeah.
44 or 46, I think.
46 after yesterday.
46. So 72, 73, 74, I think it guarantees you a playoff spot. It's the magic number for the Bolts. I have it on my phone, but of course today I'm broadcasting from my phone, so I can't get it. But so yeah, it's almost a lock. I mean, I think the thing I'm seeing a lot this season is all these teams were hitting heavy early and were hot early, and they start to seem to be cooling down all over the league. The only one that's really been consistent is Tampa. And then behind them is Florida, but still not as consistent as Tampa has been. Tampa has consistently been a 5-6 game win streak, get a loss. 5-6 win streak, get a loss. They've been the only consistent team this season.
Yeah.
Well, 48 actually, by the way. Bolts are at 48 points after yesterday. I'm sorry.
Oh, nice. Every week, though, we jump on here on Monday and we talk about how the Bolts went like 3-0 or 4-1, like they did this week. So, yeah, you're right. I thought you were going to say the Bolts are consistently consistent, though. I thought that was coming on them.
Well, and by the way, we have the fewest regulation losses of any team in the NHL right now.
Just give us the cup. Just give us the cup. Just give us the cup.
We're the first team with 20 wins. Vasys was the first goalie with 20 wins.
Just give us the cup.
Oh, excuse me. And also, Florida has 4 overtime losses. Chicago has 5 overtime losses. The Lightning have 2. So we're ahead of them in points.
Okay,
that's true. That's true. But I'm saying though, we're 3 ahead of Carolina. We're 4 ahead of Florida, and I mean, Chicago's at 33 points right now, tied with Columbus. So, just to sit there and put that in perspective, that we have that many points, and we only have 2 overtime losses. That right there shows you what Thomas is talking about, and the consistency, and the fact that this team doesn't lose, 2-3 games in a row. This team maybe loses 1, and they're right back on it. They're getting right back to it, and you're not seeing any other team that's been able to really sustain that.
No, you're getting the teams that are hot.
Who do you guys?
Everybody said with these 8-game, these back-to-backs and stuff like that, that it was going to be the tough time for Tampa. And this past week, what was it, 5 games in 7 days, 4 games in 7 days?
Mm-hmm.
And came out with a winning record out of it.
Yeah.
I think.
Who do you guys think gets in?
Go ahead.
Oh. Who do you guys think gets in over the Chicago or Columbus?
I think it's gonna be Columbus. Oh, really? I think it's gonna be Columbus.
I think Chicago.
Yeah, I like Chicago.
I think Columbus misses it. Torts gets fired.
And it comes to be our assistant coach.
Yeah. No. Then everybody's like, if God forbid we don't win the Stanley Cup, then everybody's going to be like, get rid of Kate, bring Torts back.
Yeah, all those people that probably weren't even fans back then, and that if they were always talking crap about Torts, I'm sure. How fickle and quickly we forget. What I want to talk about, though, sitting here just kind of perusing the standings, is the Islanders in the East Division. I mean, leading there with Washington, Pittsburgh, and Boston in that division, and it's the Islanders out in front. And I think it's kind of like what we were talking about in the preseason about how those three teams are kind of beating up on each other. And it's kind of giving room for the Islanders to sneak into that first place and kind of take control of that division. Because, I mean, especially the Penguins and the Capitals, they've really been beating up on each other.
Well, the Lightning realized how good they were in the playoffs last year. So,
yeah, so good.
Well, it's Trotz. I mean, you got to expect any Trotz team is going to be good, just like Coach Q down in Florida. I mean, it's the reputation.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to have a mediocre team.
You're saying that any team coached by Trotz could go on a run at any time?
I'm saying they're pretty damn good when Trotz is behind that bench. But they won't beat Tampa.
Mm. Yeah, I still don't see any team in that division that scares me.
Is there any team in the league right now that you guys think in a best of 5, 7, whatever it ends up being, beats Tampa?
No.
And
I watch a lot of hockey. I don't just watch
who is
the
ahead
Lightning.
of the Northern Division?
In the North? Oh, in the North, it's the Leafs. We don't really care about them. Like, I don't really pay. I'm sorry, I haven't really paid attention to that division because it's. I don't think it's going to matter. But
and
Toronto
out too.
I know
they're falling behind.
Last time I checked.
Yeah, they're sitting at 20 wins still, and they're sitting there tied with Edmonton, and Winnipeg and Montreal are kind of middling back there behind them a little bit, but Toronto's definitely cooled off a little bit, and I just don't know. I don't trust the division of all Canadian teams. I said this before. I know why they had to do it, but I just don't think that any of those teams are really good enough to make the playoff teams very competitive coming out of that division.
And now they have the first taste of COVID as they had to postpone games tonight.
Right.
In the Canadian division.
Mm-hmm.
Really? A Shooter, we can't hear you.
Whoops. There we go. I'm not good at this whole podcasting thing.
It's our first time.
Let's check out the power rankings. Guess who did these power rankings? It's going to be an easy guess because you can see right on the screen.
GNC.
No, it's not GNC. Why would GNC do hockey rankings? I mean, it is the GNC power rankings, but I don't think GNC gives a damn. Your favorite hockey network made this. And look who's not at the top.
Sports Network? Oh.
No, not Bally's. We'll get into Bally's in a minute. All right. Actually, we're saving next show for Bally's.
The next show.
They put Vegas and the Caps in front of us. What?
This is the most absurd. Listen, they can't wait for the Lightning to lose, bro. Patrick Sharp is so damn salty on these broadcasts. It's despicable. It's so sad.
I told you I would do this. I got this is Shooty's coaching corner.
Oh man.
First edition, Tampa Bay Lightning move up to first in the power rankings. That's how it's done.
But I mean, if you cross out the first two, did you really have to draw the arrow then?
Well, then I
That's
would have had to change this to 1, I guess.
I mean,
And we'll
okay.
put forget this on there. Forget
Yeah.
now it's just getting nasty.
No,
No, but
if this guy's black, you gotta come back.
Here's the best part of that article, if I can find it, is the actual explanation of why the Capitals and Vegas is in front of the Bolts. Because I think you could easily give that to the Bolts over any of these teams. So Vegas number 1, Fleury's redemption season rolls on. Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty form one of the league's best forward duos. One of the league's best, but not the best.
Not the best.
Not the best. And then number 2, the Washington Capitals. Just imagine how good they'll be with more consistent goaltending. When is that going to happen?
Get that from? Where's that going to happen? Is it going to pull into their ass?
Just going to fall from the heavens right into Ovi's lap? I don't know. Is it possible that Lundqvist could come back this season?
No.
Ruled out.
No, 100% out for the season.
Here, I'm not making this up. Let me put this on the screen.
He's skating, but he is not coming back this season.
So I don't know. I guess the Caps have been on a pretty good streak. I haven't really been following them. So that there they are. That's the actual comment or from the article. NBC Sports, your favorite network. And then third, our Tampa Bay Lightning, just the same. They didn't even waste their time with actually writing anything about the Lightning. They basically took the thing from the Caps and just redid it for the Lightning. Just imagine how good they'll be in the playoffs with Nikita Kucherov. I do like that, but
wow.
Dude, yeah, number 1.
Listen,
not quite.
Goal differential. Let's see. What were those two go the team? Okay, let's see. Number 1 is Vegas, right? Goal differential for Vegas. Plus 29. Goal differential for Washington. Plus 14. You can add those two together and still is less than the Lightning.
What's the Lightning? Aren't they like plus?
They're at 42. So it's not quite. I'm exaggerating a little bit. It's just barely more than what the Lightning have. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I was upset about that. But
I can't do math today. It's less.
We don't have to worry about NBC Sports for much longer because we didn't even really talk about that yet, did we?
No,
the new deal.
The axe.
The old so we're gonna have a couple new TV networks next season. I don't know when the whole Bally's thing starts, but
this month.
Is it? So we're going
May, March, this month. I think it's the end of this month.
So Fox Sports will now be Bally's
Sports Network.
Sports. What is? Do they just get paid more for that? Like, is that what's going on there?
No, they bought them.
Bally's like Total Fitness, or is that, or Bally's is like
it's
a casino,
May.
right?
May. I know it's an M. It's May. Thanks, Mike. Mike's in the comments. He's keeping us straight over here. The transition. No, Bally. I'm pretty sure that they bought from the Sinclair, right? Didn't Sinclair own Fox Sports?
It's funny. Originally, it was Disney that bought the Fox Sports channels, and now they are actually, and then they sold them to Sinclair, and then now here it is. ESPN's going to be NHL. It's like, why sell off the damn other networks?
Well, and then they're and NBC is shutting down NBC Sports Network.
Yep.
At the end of the NHL contract, so. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to get my Barrett Jackson and my Mika Moto action from anymore, but I'll be glad not to have to listen to that crappy ass commentary.
Yeah, so you'll get a little dose of Barry Melrose. Hopefully,
no, he's not staying. I'm surprised. The announcement has already come out. He's been fired with the announcement of the deal. I'm sure that had to be contingent. Like the NHL absolutely had to be like, no, you have to fire Barry before we freaking hire you, before you let us go forward, because that guy's done. He should be dead to the league.
They'll probably bring over a lot of those guys from NBC.
Oh, I'm sure. Hopefully
not all of them. Callahan, bring over Callie.
Right, bring Callie. Bring Anson. Bring Weeksy.
I'm excited for that. In fact, maybe I'll start next week's show with a song that'll definitely get us flagged, and that would be the ESPN or anything on ESPN. That was my favorite intro. Yeah. I forget what game I had. I used to have the game that had that intro. When I heard that intro on the game for the first time, when TV and video games mixed, it was like one of the first times for me. I was like, "Oh my god, the future is here."
I'm playing
Cars will be here by 2019 for sure.
Next year.
No,
still none. Bummer, man.
Marty McFly lied to us all.
Doc Brown is bullshit.
All right. What else do I want to talk about before we're almost at an hour here? Can you believe we just? And by the way, John, I feel bad now, John, because he dropped off and he said he had bad internet, and then I saw he was trying to get back on, but I was in the middle of some sort of rant, probably about the power rankings, and he left. So, John, I'll talk to you later. But thanks for jumping on the call. He's one of our 25 podcast listeners. That's right.
We're up there.
So we appreciate him. He's definitely the guy that gets really pissed off, and I'm like, oh, you got to come watch the stream. He's like, fuck you, Shooty. No, you better articulate everything you're talking about and showing on that screen. So he was
drinking a soda.
All right. Well, I had a couple more things that I want to talk about. One, Stache, did you read the paper recently? Did you get your Tampa Bay Times?
Every day.
Did you read the article that I am talking about?
Which one?
And apparently not, because there was a love story written about Alex Killorn in the St. Pete Times last week, or Tampa Bay Times, sorry. Last week, or actually just a couple days ago, I think. It was over the weekend. Pretty good article, though. It was all about Killer. Obviously, a lot about the doc talk stuff. Remember, we forget that raised over like $50K with that doc talk stuff, and they kind of tell the story of that. But then there's also some really good juicy nuggets in there. Like, I didn't really realize how Killer's like such a cornerstone of this franchise. He's the longest tenure. I know, that's what I'm telling you. That's why you got to go read this article.
Oh, I did. I've read it.
I'm bought in. Oh, you did.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, they talk about how he's actually the longest tenured Bolt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how he was drafted before Stamkos.
Yep.
And they talk about how he is a burger investor. he owns a BurgerFi in St. Pete. So go get your burgers from Killer. Like, that should be an episode of Doc Talk, right?
We should go. Well, there should be an episode of We the Thunder.
A live on the scene. He's gonna start thinking we're stalking him, but
I am.
Could do that.
I am like quarter time stalking him. Like, I'm just sitting here trying to figure out if I have to buy a reverse retro jersey and then take it to the arena to get his number and name put on it, because I can't find them with the players' numbers online.
Out of the numbers for the retro jersey, you would have to get the regular numbers. They no longer have the retro and will not be getting any more in. So if you do not get if you do not have one of the pre-made ones that are already at the arena, which is Vasys, Stamkos, Cooch, and Hedman, you cannot get one unless you get the regular white numbers on it.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, what are they doing? Don't they want to make money?
Why would you limit? Yes, dude. Why would you limit your merchandise like that? That makes no sense.
Here's something stupid that they did. They made a batch of Pat Maroon ones.
Well, Stache would take that one for sure.
Like, I'm sitting here wanting to get a Sergachev one, and they do it because they don't have any of the numbers or with the. It's the only difference is the glitter outlining of the gray, the silver, is different, but it catches.
That's a huge difference. That's a huge difference.
It catches for that jersey, but I'm like, really, you guys had. Who's coming in here? Why do you need to have 10 maroons, but we don't have a Sergachev or a Sorelli
or a Killer?
Right.
The longest tenured player on the Bolts.
On the Lightning.
I did not realize he was there that long. And they also said he's taking over for, he's doing the Can Jam benefit this year with McDonough.
Yeah, McDonough. Yeah. He did it last year and he was doing it again this year. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. That was started with Callahan and McDonough though, right? Or was Killer always in it?
It was, yeah.
I mean, Schooley, you pretty much ran the thing. So,
well, we were doing a charity for it, a fundraiser event for it, the day Miller got traded.
Oh, that's right.
We raised $2,000. I'm like, now what do I do? And so they're like, we're gonna get another representative. We just don't know who. And then Killorn stepped in, and we got to play last year. Me and Linda Barrows formed a team, and Gourde was our Lightning teammate last year.
Nice.
Did he play like he seems like he's on the ice? Like not like put you in a headlock or anything, but
he did good.
He yapping?
We beat Stammer's team, which was good. It was Stammer's birthday, and we lost. We beat Tyler's team. We lost to Killorn's team. They were ringers.
There you go. Of course they were.
Skilled.
Because Killer knows what's up.
Yeah.
It's a Harvard man. It's a Harvard man, by the way. We didn't mention that in all this. Do you guys know he went to Harvard?
Yeah. I heard that somewhere. One more stat. He was, or he is, one of just 6 Lightning players to play 600 games in a Lightning uniform.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna find out who the other 5 are, and you guys know the next trivia question for whenever we do trivia. That's a good one. All right, so that reminded me though of, a lot has changed since Lightning have won the Cup, and Killer is this cornerstone of the franchise. I didn't even realize that, but it got me thinking. About 2 or 3 years ago, we did on the Shooter and the Stache site a vote of. It was basically a March Madness. We are in March Madness right now. It's college basketball games probably going on right now. We did the Lightning version to find out who is the all-time greatest Bolt. And it came down to, I think it was Vinny and Marty, I believe. And I think, I don't remember who won, actually. Probably should look that up. But
I was just thinking about this the other day, too, and I don't remember who, because it was voted on by the fans.
It was then, but way to prepare, guys.
It was all I was just thinking of this when I was.
This is off the cuff.
I was reading that article earlier, but it doesn't matter who won it then, because you pretty much knew who it was going to come down to in the Final Four, because we only won 1 cup. We only been around. It was only a couple of years ago, but you kind of knew who it was going to be. Is my point. And now that we've won the Cup, and you've got Vasys breaking records, you've got Hedman who's brought home the trophy and the hardware. They brought home the Cup again, and for a lot of people, like a lot of those Cup team players were on that final group, right? At least the Elite 8. So do you guys think
Stammer have his moment?
Yeah, well, I mean, if we run that again, do the Stammers, do the Hedmans, do they make a run at Marty? Do they make a run at Vinny and take those guys out now?
I think Vasys the one would be the dark horse. I think to come in and really
claimed him as the greatest goalie of all time, soon to be. So
the Russian theory, Vasys versus Cooch, number 1, number 2, and maybe Vinny separates them. Maybe it's a 1 Vasys or a 1 Cooch, 2 VL4, and then the Russian number 3.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I also think that this has a lot to do with the way that all the fans acted and reacted to Marty and the way he left. I still think there's bad blood there. Oh, if you're really honest, if you're really truly honest and objective, Marty St. Louis is still the best Lightning player, greatest Lightning player of all time, as we sit right now. Do I believe that at some point one of the guys wearing the sweater currently will take that mantle over? Absolutely. I do believe that. But as of right now, MSL is still the greatest Lightning player of all time.
What's it going to take, though, to get him over the hump?
I think if Stammer has
just the end of the career is what I think.
I think if Stammer has a huge playoff career this year, I think he can take over as the all-time Lightning number one guy.
This year.
You have Cooch waiting right there in the doorstep. I mean, I think Cooch has probably a couple more years left than Stammer would. And so, you know, you're going to have 77, 91, 86, and 88 all hanging from the rafters one day.
Yeah, that's absolutely. And honestly, as Rob was talking about this, and you know, people make fun of me all the time for it, but if Killer gets through this next offseason, I see him staying here his whole career, and I wouldn't be surprised, if he hits that 800 game mark in a Lightning sweater. I think that puts your name in the rafters. You know what I mean? If you play 800 games in the sweater and you win at least one cup here, I think that that puts you up there, if you ask me. So you're seeing definitely the greatest Lightning team that has ever been in the 25 plus years so far, and they're going to be hard pressed to assemble this kind of talent again in the future. See, this is why Shooter's the best, because on the fly he can get back in our archives and find shit. So he's got to give him a second.
There it is. Your winner, Vinny Lecavalier. You're absolutely right. We could not forgive Marty St. Louis. It was Marty and Vinny. You had Hedman and you had Stamkos. Man, that's it right there. It would be the same thing, I think. I don't know if Vasys sneaks in there as a goalie into that top four, but I guess it's kind of how you do the rankings and how you break up the bracket. Like I kind of knew it was, like you can tell the first seed, Marty, Hedman, Vinny, Stamkos. You knew the whole time that's who it was going to be.
Right.
So I don't know if that final four changes, but I think you're right. I think you're close to crowning a new champion. And then, hey, what happens if they win the cup this year? Like, does that clinch it right there? Is it now Hedman and Stamkos?
Yeah, I think so.
You get this team to get 2 cups, and I mean, we already say it's the greatest Lightning team of all time, but that will forever go down as the best back-to-back champions.
Yeah,
two-time Stanley Cup winners. You're gonna have 2-time Vezina. Hetty's the favorite right now.
He's gonna win the Norris again because he's as much as fast as leading
the Jack Adams Trophy. So this will go down as the dynasty for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Do we have the young guns down in the farm that could take it over? Possibly, but
that's something maybe I would. Well, I'd like to cue that up. Maybe for next week's. We're already here a little over an hour this week, but this is something I was thinking to myself here after the last couple of games is the cutting is coming. You know what I mean? There is going to be a leavening, a quick inning, whatever you want to call it, and some of the guys are going to have to go. But how much more comfortable do you feel now than you did last season, right? Because a lot of people, even some of us here on the show, were not, I would say panicked, but definitely concerned about what they do if they didn't re-sign us Sorelli or where you fill the holes from if Killer and Johnson have to go. And now that you've seen some of these guys be able to play on the taxi squad and be able to come up and play on regular, like John was mentioning before, with Colton and ABB and in Foot, I don't feel quite as concerned. Do
you think Volkov sees the ice again?
I mean, I think so.
I think Ross Colton has played into that spot, and then you get Mitchell Stevens, who's now practicing with the team again. You get him back, and I don't know. I don't know if we see Volkov.
I don't know if he sees games in a row, but I definitely think Volkov will play one or two, three more games for sure. But no, Colton, that line is gelling so well right now. And how do you change that?
I think maybe Volkov
gets started the game
if McDonough's still hurt, and we go one less D.
Right.
All right, you guys got anything else to get off your chest?
No, I got something to get off the matter. All
right. Are we coming back next Monday?
I'm down.
Next Monday, we got who do we have? Dallas tomorrow, 8:30 start time. You got Dallas again. I'm like looking over at my other screen. I can just share it with you. Dallas, Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 start times at Carolina, Saturday night. So we'll have 3 games to talk about. I think the Bolts probably go 3-0. Maybe they drop one of those games. We can't win them all, but I hope you guys don't get so upset on the old Facebook when they do lose. But we'll talk more about that next week. Anything else, boys?
Everybody check out Thunderbolts.
Go check out the Thunderbolts for all your updates in Lightning fandom, and join us next week.
Do that.
All right. This has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
Be the Thunder.